In 1953, executives from the 7 largest tobacco companies in America gathered in a New York hotel room. They had just received a report from their own scientists. The report confirmed that cigarettes caused cancer. They buried it. For the next 40 years, they told the public that cigarettes were safe. 400,000 Americans died every year. The companies knew the entire time. That is case 1. There are 7 more. Welcome to Guilty and Free. I'm going to show you 8 companies that had documented internal proof that their products were harming or killing people, and kept selling anyway. These are not allegations. These are court records, internal memos, and settled lawsuits. Every case is verified. Every fact is sourced. And in every single case, the company paid a fine. Not one executive went to prison. Here are the 8 worst cases, starting with the one you think you know, but don't. 1. Big Tobacco. In the early 1950s, the American tobacco industry commissioned its own private research into the link between cigarettes and cancer. The results came back positive, so they did something remarkable. They formed a joint organization called the Tobacco Industry Research Committee, not to protect public health, but to manufacture scientific doubt. They hired scientists not to find the truth, but to dispute it. They ran advertisements featuring doctors endorsing cigarettes. They lobbied Congress. They buried every internal study that confirmed what they already knew. This strategy was documented in internal memos, later recovered in litigation. One memo, written in 1969 by a Brown and Williamson executive, stated explicitly, "Doubt is our product." They maintained this strategy for 40 years. The settlement came in 1998. The tobacco industry paid $206 billion across 25 years. No executive was ever charged with a crime. The same companies still sell cigarettes today. Case 2. Ford Motor Company. In the early 1970s, Ford engineers discovered a critical flaw in the Ford Pinto. The fuel tank was positioned in a way that made it likely to rupture and catch fire in rear-end collisions, even at low speeds. Ford ran a cost-benefit analysis. They calculated the cost of recalling and fixing every Pinto versus the cost of settling lawsuits from deaths and burn injuries. The fix would cost $11 per vehicle. Ford determined it was cheaper to pay the lawsuits. The internal document is known as the Pinto Memo. It assigned a dollar value to human life, $200,000 per death, and concluded that fixing the cars was not worth the cost. Ford did not recall the Pinto. An estimated 500 people died in Pinto fires over the following years. Ford was eventually ordered to pay $125 million in punitive damages, later reduced to $3.5 million on appeal. No Ford executive was ever imprisoned. The Pinto Memo is now studied in business ethics courses as a cautionary tale. The only problem is that for Ford, it wasn't a mistake. It was a calculation. Case 3. Purdue Pharma. In 1996, Purdue Pharma launched OxyContin. Their internal research showed it was highly addictive. Their sales force was trained to tell doctors it wasn't. Purdue paid thousands of doctors to attend pain management seminars, which were, in practice, paid promotional events. They created a patient starter coupon program that gave people their first OxyContin prescription for free. They targeted high-prescribing doctors with bonuses. Internal documents showed that Purdue executives were aware of widespread abuse as early as 1997. They continued anyway. Between 1999 and 2021, nearly 600,000 Americans died from opioid overdoses. OxyContin is considered the primary catalyst of that crisis. In 2022, the Sackler family, who owned Purdue, agreed to pay $6 billion in a settlement. In exchange, they received immunity from future civil lawsuits. The Sackler family's net worth is still estimated at over $10 billion. No member of the Sackler family has served a single day in prison. Case 4. DuPont and PFAS. For decades, DuPont manufactured a chemical called C8, also known as PFOA, used to make Teflon non-stick coating. By the 1960s, DuPont's own scientists had documented that C8 caused cancer in laboratory animals. By the 1980s, they had data showing elevated cancer rates among their own factory workers. By the 1990s, they knew C8 was contaminating the water supply of an entire West Virginia community. DuPont said nothing. They continued dumping C8 into the local river. Residents downstream developed kidney cancer, testicular cancer, thyroid disease, and ulcerative colitis at rates far above national averages. An independent science panel, convened as part of a legal settlement, eventually confirmed a probable link between C8 exposure and 6 diseases. DuPont settled with approximately 3,500 plaintiffs for a total of $670 million. No executive was ever charged. PFAS chemicals, the family of compounds that include C8, are now found in the blood of 97% of Americans. DuPont had known since the 1960s. Case 5. Nestle baby formula. In the 1970s, Nestle aggressively marketed baby formula to mothers in developing countries across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Their marketing strategy included dressing sales representatives as nurses, distributing free samples until mothers' breast milk dried up, ensuring formula dependency, and using imagery that implied formula was medically superior to breast milk. The World Health Organization estimated that the switch from breastfeeding to formula in unsanitary conditions, where clean water to mix formula was unavailable, contributed to the deaths of 1 million infants per year. Internal Nestle documents showed the company was aware that clean water access was a problem in target markets. A global boycott began in 1977 and is still technically active today. Nestle has never been criminally prosecuted. Its annual revenue is over $90 billion. Trump 1. Volkswagen. In 2015, the United States Environmental Protection Agency discovered that Volkswagen had installed secret software in 11 million diesel vehicles worldwide. The software detected when a vehicle was being tested for emissions and temporarily reduced pollution output to pass the test. In normal driving conditions, the cars emitted nitrogen oxide at up to 40 times the legal limit. Volkswagen had known. Engineers and executives had designed the system deliberately. Internal emails showed discussions about the defeat device going back years. The excess emissions are estimated to have caused between 1,200 and 2,800 premature deaths across Europe and the United States. Volkswagen paid over $30 billion in fines, recalls, and settlements globally. 6 executives were charged in the United States. 1 served prison time. The others remain in Germany, outside U.S. extradition reach. The CEO at the time of the scandal, Martin Winterkorn, has still not faced trial. Case 7. Johnson & Johnson. For decades, Johnson & Johnson sold talc-based baby powder as one of its flagship consumer products, marketed specifically to mothers for use on infants. Internal documents obtained in litigation show that Johnson & Johnson's own scientists detected asbestos in their talc as far back as 1971. The company did not disclose this to regulators or consumers. Instead, they lobbied the FDA to avoid mandatory testing. They commissioned their own studies and, when those studies also detected asbestos, disputed the methodology. In 2020, Johnson & Johnson discontinued talc-based baby powder in the United States and Canada. Globally, they continued selling it until 2023. The company has faced over 38,000 lawsuits related to talc and cancer. To manage the liability, Johnson & Johnson created a subsidiary, loaded it with the talc lawsuits, and filed it for bankruptcy, a legal strategy designed to cap payouts to victims. A federal judge has blocked this maneuver twice. Johnson & Johnson is still trying. Case 8. This is the one most people have never heard of, and it may be the worst of all. In 1923, General Motors, Standard Oil, and DuPont introduced leaded gasoline to the American market. They knew lead was a potent neurotoxin from the beginning. Their own chemists had warned them. Workers at the first tetraethyl lead plant, known internally as the Looney Gas Building, suffered hallucinations, seizures, and death. A public health scientist named Dr. Alice Hamilton publicly warned of the dangers. She was dismissed and discredited by industry-funded researchers. The industry argued there was no data proving lead at low levels was harmful to the general public. There was. They had it. They suppressed it. Leaded gasoline became the dominant fuel worldwide. For 50 years, billions of people, including pregnant women and children, breathed lead exhaust every day. The neurodevelopmental damage was generational. Research has since linked the era of leaded gasoline to measurable drops in IQ across entire populations, and to elevated rates of violent crime in cities where lead exposure was highest. Leaded gasoline was not fully phased out globally until 2021. It was not banned in the United States until 1996. The industry knew in 1923. No one was ever charged. 8 companies, 8 products, 8 cover-ups spanning decades. The pattern is always the same. Internal research identifies the harm. Executives suppress the research. The product keeps selling. Regulators are lobbied. Scientists are discredited. Whistleblowers are fired. Eventually, sometimes after decades, sometimes after hundreds of thousands of deaths, a lawsuit forces the truth into public record. A settlement is reached. The company pays a fraction of what it earned from the product that caused the harm. No one goes to prison. And next quarter, business continues. This is what guilty and free documents, real cases, verified facts, no arrests. If you think the most dangerous criminals in America and Europe never wore handcuffs, subscribe. We have a lot more to show you. New video every week. They got away with it. We're going to make sure you know exactly how.